Italian climbers summit fraud scandal. Italian mountaineering hero Marco Confortola accused of faking summit photos to claim all 14 Himalayan giants. One of Italy's most celebrated mountaineers, Marco Confortola, is at the center of a storm in the climbing world after being accused of faking summit photos to inflate his record of Himalayan achievement. It's time to dig into this one. Let's break it down on the AI podcast.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the place you come to. Well, plunge into complex stories and pull out what really matters for you.
That's right.
And today, we're looking way, way up. To the very top of the world, really.
Yeah.
It's a place of just incredible human endurance. We're talking about the 8,000-meter club.
That elite group. Climbers who've managed to summit the 14 highest peaks on Earth. It's breathtaking stuff.
It really is. But what happens when the proof, the very foundation of those incredible claims starts to crumble, or at least when someone says it is?
Yeah, that's where it gets messy.
Exactly. So today we're doing a deep dive into a swirling controversy that's really shaking up the mountaineering world. It centers on a pretty celebrated Italian climber,
Marco Confortola.
Marco Confortola. Our mission today is to unpack these really serious accusations against him, claims of faked climbs, basically.
And specifically, looking at the alleged photo manipulation, right?
Yes, exactly. We'll look at the photos, hear his denials, which are quite fierce, and try to understand what this whole saga really means. For achievement, for authenticity, in such a high-stakes game like extreme alpinism.
We'll be digging into the sources you've provided, really trying to get a handle on what exactly is being claimed, and frankly, why it's causing such a massive stir.
And it's more than just one climber's reputation on the line, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. What's so fascinating here, I think, is how it taps into these bigger questions. Questions about trust, about proof, especially now when digital images can be, changed.
Right. And you're talking about pursuing glory where the stakes are literally life and death. It forces you, the listener, to think about what really counts as an achievement up there.
Definitely.
Okay, so to really get this, we need to understand the man at the center of it all. Marco Confortola, who is he? What's his story?
Marco Confortola is 54. He's an Italian mountaineer. And for a long time, he's been really celebrated for claiming he climbed all 14 of the 8,000-meter peaks, Everest included, of course.
And his backstory adds another layer, right? The K2 disaster.
It does. It's quite remarkable and tragic. He lost all his toes to frostbite during that terrible 2008 K2 disaster where 11 climbers died.
Wow.
Yeah. So surviving that and then going on to supposedly summit all 14 peaks, it made the story even more incredible, added to the legend.
Makes sense. And he's built a profile on this.
Oh, yeah. He's written 5 books. He does motivational speaking for companies. A very public figure, really, built around these climbs.
So a celebrated figure, a compelling story.
Yeah.
But then comes the challenge from another big name in Italian climbing, Simone Morrow. What's Morrow actually saying?
Right, Simone Morrow. He's 56, also highly respected, famous for first winter ascents, which is a huge deal. Though, interestingly, he hasn't climbed all 14 himself.
Okay.
But Morrow has basically thrown down the gauntlet.
Yeah.
His main accusation is pretty blunt. He says Confortola never actually reached the summit on 6 of those 14 peaks he claims.
6? Wow, that's nearly half the list.
It's a huge chunk, yeah.
And the sources mention specific peaks, like Kanchenjunga and Annapurna.
That's right. He's not just making vague claims. He's pointing fingers at specific climbs. And his core argument is how Confortola allegedly proved these climbs.
Which is where the photos come in. This idea of faked evidence.
Exactly. Morrow insists Confortola used stolen or digitally altered images to back up his summit claims.
Okay, so let's get into the smoking gun details. What's the story with the Kanchenjunga photo?
Well, for Kanchenjunga, the allegation is that Confortola took a summit photo, possibly a group photo, and cropped a Pakistani climber out of it, to make it look like maybe he was alone or just to use it as his own proof.
Okay, cropping someone out. But the Lhotse one sounds even more specific.
It really does. This is maybe the most detailed accusation.
Wow.
For Lhotse, Morrow claims Confortola actually inserted himself into a summit photo that was originally taken by a Spanish climber, Jorge Egochaga.
Inserted himself, like photoshopped himself.
Yeah, pretty much. And Morrow added this killer detail. He said, he even added a bit of snow blowing in the wind, but the shadows on the mountain are identical.
Identical shadows. That's the kind of detail that's hard to fake naturally, right? Suggests manipulation.
It strongly suggests it, yeah. Shadows should change based on time, exact position. Identical shadows in two supposedly different photos taken by different people at potentially different times. That's a huge red flag for digital manipulation.
So Morrow's laying out some pretty specific technical accusations. Is he the only one raising doubts, or are others in the climbing world starting to murmur too?
No, he's definitely not alone now. Silvio Mondinelli, another veteran Italian climber, he's questioned Confortola's Annapurna ascent from 2010, said he stopped short of the real summit.
Stop short. Another common point of contention in summit claims.
Very common. And then Morrow also brought in testimony from Sherpas. He cited Sherpas, who were apparently with Confortola on Kanchenjunga, claiming they confirmed he never actually made it to the top.
Wow, the guys themselves, that's powerful.
It is. When the people who were literally there with you cast doubt, it carries weight. Plus, there's this other wrinkle. Confortola himself had already admitted sometime earlier that he didn't actually summit Nanga Parbat.
He admitted that one. Nanga Parbat is one of the 14 too, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Which makes you wonder, right? Why admit one false claim but fight so hard against these other 6 allegations?
That's the question. So how has Confortola responded to all this? To Morrow, to Mondinelli, to the Sherpa claims?
Well, he's denied everything fiercely, flat-out denials. He's basically dismissing it all as jealousy from rivals who can't stand his success or his personality.
Jealousy? What exactly did he say?
His statements have been pretty emotional. He was quoted saying something like, "It is because I am simpatico, I speak about my exploits to companies," basically suggesting they resent his popularity.
Okay.
And then he said something even more dramatic, like, "Who does Simone Morrow think he is? My mistake was not dying on K2 in 2008. That way these stars would have been happy."
Wow, that's incredibly pointed. Bringing the K2 tragedy into it like that.
Very defiant, very emotional, yeah. It paints a picture of him feeling attacked, cornered perhaps.
While it's easy to see that as deflection, you have to ask, does the climbing community see any truth to the jealousy claim? Or is the evidence just mounting too high? Did he address the photo specifics?
He did address the specifics, yeah. He spoke to Lo Scarpone, a mountaineering magazine, and insisted his Lhotse summit photo was completely authentic, directly contradicting Mora's claim about the insertion and the shadows.
So sticking to his guns on that one.
Absolutely. And he also pushed back on Mondinelli, claiming that Mondinelli had actually supported his Annapurna climb at one point in the past. So he's not just issuing blanket denials, he's trying to counter the specific points too, painting himself as the victim of like a coordinated campaign.
This is getting intense. And it's not just staying between these few climbers, is it? The sources say Reinhold Messner got involved.
Yes. And when Messner speaks, people listen. For anyone who doesn't know, Reinhold Messner, now 80, he's basically a living legend. The first person ever to summit all 14 8,000ers back in 1986. A titan of the sport.
So what did the Titan say?
His words were, well, brutal. He apparently stated Confortola is a joke.
A joke. Wow.
Yeah, and that his actions are tarnishing Italy's reputation in mountaineering globally. Messner even warned something like, "More Italians have climbed the 14 than any other nation, but Confortola is reinforcing the worst stereotypes about Italians."
Oof. That's about as harsh a critique as you can get in that world, especially coming from Messner.
It's a massive blow, and Morrow actually used it. When responding to Confortola's personal attacks about jealousy in K2, Morrow basically said, look, Confortola is making it personal because he doesn't have proof. Even Reinhold Messner says he's a joke.
So Messner's comment kind of validates the seriousness of the accusations in the eyes of many.
It definitely lends huge weight to them. It signals that this isn't just seen as petty rivalry at the very top levels.
Okay, stepping back from the he said, she said for a moment, this whole controversy seems to be tapping into something bigger going on in mountaineering, doesn't it? What's Morrow saying about the sort of state of climbing today?
Yeah, Morrow's critique definitely goes deeper. He's arguing that the whole meaning of climbing these huge Himalayan peaks has changed. It's become different in recent years.
How so?
He points to things like the rise of commercial expeditions, large guided groups, the use of helicopters for shortcuts, like flying into higher camps, and a heavy reliance on Sherpas to fix ropes, carry gear, basically pave the way.
So making it more accessible, maybe, but less pure.
That's the argument. Morrow controversially called it becoming a holiday novelty, turning what was the absolute pinnacle of alpinism, this test of self-reliance, skill, endurance, into something almost touristic.
A holiday novelty. That's a strong phrase.
It is, and it highlights this real tension in the climbing world, this anxiety about commercialization, about authenticity. Is the achievement the same if the methods change so drastically?
And the Confortola debate feeds right into that anxiety, right?
Yeah.
Because it's all about the authenticity of the claim.
Exactly. Whether Confortola did it or not, the way these things are claimed, proven, and debated touches on this nerve about what high-altitude climbing means today. It's clearly dividing the Italian climbing community deeply. Questions about fame, glory, proof, and what you're willing to do for it.
So wrapping this part up, this deep dive has really shown us a pretty dramatic clash right there at the heart of the mountaineering world. It's a battle over truth, sure, but also over reputation and maybe the very soul of the sport.
Definitely. We've seen these really specific, almost forensic accusations about photo manipulation.
Met with these incredibly strong emotional denials.
And it's pulled in legends like Messner, sparking this much wider debate about how climbing is changing.
So the big question for you, listening,
Yeah.
what does all this mean? Not just for mountaineering, but maybe for extreme sports in general.
Yeah, in a world that's so driven by images, by claims made online, how do you tell what's real? What's genuine achievement versus, a carefully built story, especially when the proof itself might be altered?
What's the real value of standing on that summit if the way you got there or the way you showed you got there is fundamentally questioned?
It really makes you ask, what does truth even mean at 8,000 meters? And maybe more disturbingly, how far might someone go to grab a piece of that incredible, elusive glory?
Okay, one more question for you. Do you think summit photos are enough proof of a mountaineer's achievement, or should stricter verifications be required? Don't forget to comment it. Thanks.